Hi, this is Tamor from CVG, and I've been playing through a preview build of Sleeping Dogs, and I thought I'd just give you some quick impressions of it. So for those not familiar, Sleeping Dogs it's had a rough development cycle. It started off as an new IP called Black Lotus at Activision, but as we all know these days, starting a new IP to publish is essentially the equivalent of setting a big pile of money on fire. So Activision attached the True Crime name to it, but after a few delays, which Activision said was to make it more sophisticated, it kind of held its hand up and said it's not confident in it and cancelled it. Activision's CEO of publishing, Eric Hirschberg, at the time said, being blunt, it wasn't going to be good enough, but Square Enix stepped in and picked up the pieces, and from the ashes arose Sleeping Dogs. So in Sleeping Dogs you play as Wei Shen, who's this character here. He's kind of like an undercover cop. He was born in Hong Kong, and then his sister got into some trouble with the local Triads, and his mom moved him out to San Francisco, but he's always kind of held a grudge. He's a really interesting character from what I played so far, because he's a cop, but he's clearly got grudges against the Hong Kong, scene, the gangster scene, and kind of like trying to battle against doing the right thing with getting revenge because his sister died, and apparently they are responsible in some way. Sleeping Dogs is a very combat heavy game, and as you can probably tell, it's very similar to Batman, but obviously Wei Shen's brand of kung fu isn't like a bat fu or anything, so you got to be really precise with your timing for counters. But the quirk in the game is this environmental attacks. So once you grab hold of a character by hitting B or circle on the PlayStation, the game will highlight stuff you can interact with in the environment, and you can wander over with an enemy held struggling, and kind of he will, if it's a fan, he'll stick their head through it. How you're seeing the counter system in the game, if you get grabbed by an enemy, the game quickly switches to a kind of quick time event thing, so you can counter your way out of a enemy grab, and then get up and deliver a beatdown. Here you see one of the environmental kills where Wei grabs hold of a character and just kind of shoves his head into a fish tank. As typically Arkham Batman kind of set up, where you've got a bunch of thugs and you just need to time your counters and take them out one by one. Here you see again using the environment in a little more brutal fashion. Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is quite brutal, so you get these really over the top kills. I'm not sure what that was, but there you go. On a meat hook, he should do the same thing. You can just pick enemies up and kind of grind their faces into fans, impale them, throw them off buildings, all kinds of malicious ways to get rid of them. And again, here's some more brutality. Chinese underground criminals like to chop people up using butcher's knives. Unlike other open world games like GTA or Saints Row to some degree, the driving in Sleeping Dogs is very, very loose, and you can just throw a car around a corner on a dime. It doesn't adhere to the physics or anything like that. It's just about having fun. Obviously, like last games, you'll have a lot of cinematic shooting moments inside the car, and this is very Michael Bay-ish. Like, you just have to aim kind of near a tire and hit the button, shoot a tire out, and the car will do the most exaggerated like reaction ever. It will flip, bounce off walls, whatever. United Front is made up of some of the former Scarface development teams, so obviously you can see here you've got the shakedown mechanic from Scarface, where you're expected to go around to various businesses that you are giving protection to, and collect money. Some of these guys will pay up, others will claim they're being protected by a rival gang, and you'll have to deliver a beatdown to make sure they know who's in charge. There's a lot of on-foot chases in the game, but luckily they're done really well, so you kind of just hold the A button to sprint and run and direct your character through these crowds, so you've got to be really careful and pick your line. Otherwise, as you'll see, you crash into different people. You kind of got to thread your way in between these people if you want to catch up to the other person. But from what we've played, it doesn't look like you can fail them, or it's very difficult to fail them. I think the only way you can do it is by stopping. But it's really cinematic. You get these moments where you have to run, and as you're reaching like a wall or one of these stands, you just hit the A button and you'll vault over it. The shooting in Sleeping Dogs feels really tight and really visceral. You can, like, as you can see, you can grab hold of characters and kind of take them as human shields, and you don't really have to sink too many bullets into a character, so it's very snappy. You're kind of like churning through different waves of enemies really quickly. Since Wei is a triad and a cop, Wei's an undercover triad, you have to balance you get these mission scores and you're rewarded for doing various different things, but you need to be careful. So although you're going around and shaking down different businesses and earning triad mission score, you need to make sure that you don't go too far in one direction. Since we've only got a preview version, we're not sure what kind of implications going too far on one side or the other will have. With any luck, it might affect the way the two sides see you. So if you're too much on the triad side, the cops might be a little more suspicious of you, and if you're too far on the cops side, the triads might think that you're clock onto you. So that's Sleeping Dogs. It's out on August 17th, but we'll have more videos in the lead up to release, so keep your eye on CVG.